touch and don't touch. To touch means the ability to feel and experience through tactile means, and to not touch means not to have that experience but to strictly observe from a visual perspective. I have explored two deaf artists who settled in the Toronto area, and I have researched their backgrounds to discover who they are and the kind of art that they create. Deaf Chinese artist Wei Wang. She specializes in inner painting, which is painting the inside of glass bottles with oil paints. She trained under her sensei in China, who taught her for over 2 years. Her work is very elaborate, using very precise strokes, and her work cannot be touched, but only appreciated by observation. Deaf-blind Sri Lankan artist Navija Navaratnam. Her artwork has a three-dimensional and textured aspects, which permit a tactile experience. This is the reason I chose these two contrasting artists to showcase their artwork for Touch, Don't Touch. The pandemic has impacted deaf culture, and that is why I have chosen these two deaf artists. I wanted people to feel a sense of connection, because the COVID pandemic has infected all of us. As humans, we need that sense of connection, and that is even more heightened for deaf people, because touch is a means of connecting with each other, such as our attention-getting behaviors. Deaf-blind and deaf-low vision individuals experience another need for connection from a more tactile experience, something that they can touch. I myself am deaf-blind, low vision. I want to share a story with you. A story about my friend who is deaf-blind and our time together. She was able to identify me through scent, or by touching the braid at the back of my head or the ring on my finger. She wasn't able to do that with others because of the lack of connection with them. By spending time with me, she came to know my scent and my characteristics. Unfortunately, my friend passed, and I do miss her. But because of that relationship, I wanted to create artwork that used textures and various materials to replicate the experience of how my friend knew me and the world around her. Blind or deaf-blind people can experience the art through touch and connect with it. Could you tell me how you create your artwork? Using a piece of paper like this one, the first thing I do is use a pencil to create the essential design, and then I begin to add some color using the watercolor paint that I have here. After allowing it to dry, I use this precision knife to cut out the shape from the paper so its edges can be felt to give definition to the piece, much like how you can feel the edges of a picture frame. I then use bottled ink, like this one, which is available in any color, or watercolor paints in various colors that you can see on this palette. In Indian culture, we love things that glitter or sparkle, and we adorn our fabrics with it. So I add these, which adds texture to my creations. The fabrics I choose have a texture, so in the piece with the woman, her nipples and her dress can be experienced tactilely, so it can be identified. Everything is glued on in layers, so it creates depth to the art. And again, all of these features are able to be experienced through touch. By providing contrasting depth that can be felt by blind or deaf-blind individuals, it provides a rich experience and a connection to the art. My name is Wei Wang. I am a deaf Chinese artist, and I specialize in painting inside of glass bottles using oil paints. My artwork cannot be touched because it's within the bottle. People want to touch it, they are curious. However, the bottles are made of glass and they can easily be fouled by fingerprints. In addition, it's for safety reasons as well, as the bottles are made of glass and quite fragile. So if people were to touch the object and hold it, there's a possibility it could fall and break or damage my artwork. Could you describe how your art is made? I make my art first by taking a glass bottle like this one, and again I want to demonstrate the reason why you can't touch my work. As I tap it here, you can hear how fragile it is. I'm going to demonstrate what I do. I use this thin iron rod and attach a small curved pointed brush to the tip. I'm going to use the black oil paint in this demonstration. I clean off the tip and ensure the brush tip is to a fine point. That is the basic process, and of course I would use more ink to create a more elaborate design. I now want to show you another sample using a different shape. I have this rectangular piece, and I've already sketched the inside, accessing this slot along the bottom. So now what I need to do is add color. I add color now. In typical oil painting, you start with the base and add the color last. However, this process is the exact opposite because the outermost layer is the glass. I need to think of the final image and work backwards. But because this is oil paint, I can only apply one layer at a time, and I have to wait for it to dry before I add the next inner layer, and I do this multiple times. The more layers there are, the more complex it is, and I have to plan it out, but that is my process.